Well, hello there again, party people. After that long 40-minute break, we are about to get into some round two action. You're going to have to forgive the sirens. I guess some tornado sirens going on in my town if you can hear that. But guess what, guys? I have a special guest for you. I am here with Emzo. Emzo, how are you doing?
Good, man. I think you should use that tornado warning every time to introduce the game. Like, whoa, natural disaster of a game coming in here.
It's about to be a crazy one.
I'm
This one
feeling it.
is our final matchup for our second week in the CCS Invite League, which is for $500 plus any donations we may get. On this one, we have Paradox, which is currently sitting at number 8, going up against Hat, which is number 4, a little diluted in the stats because they haven't played their second match yet and the other guys have, so those are on there currently. But I think this should be an exciting matchup. Hat probably one of our top 3 teams here in the league, in my opinion. How about you?
Oh, definitely. That's the game I casted last time as well, and that was a hell of a
Yeah.
game. Mostly for Hat, not so much for the other team, but
Yeah.
that could be how it goes with some of these. I mean, this is a league where we're still feeling out a lot of teams that may or may not have as much experience as other ones, but Hat has definitely been around.
Yeah, all these players have been around for a while, and while we get these guys into our lobby, we're going to go ahead and go over each team roster. First, we have Paradox. And you guys, there is no Twitter, so nothing to follow on them, but you can add them on Uplay. You got JT, Mayhem, Heavy, Bonsai, and Vortex. JT, the heavy fragger for this roster. Mayhem also does a very good job on Rome. We saw a pretty good standout performance by him on Oregon last time we saw them. So I expect to see big things out of him too. You know, all these guys are underage players, but they're all pretty skilled. What do you think about it?
I think so too. I've seen some good stuff from Paradox before, and I think they're an interesting team to watch. But this is really going to be a test for them. I think going against Hat, it's going to be whether or not they can. Sometimes when confidence is low on teams like this, that's a big part of this game. If they're not feeling comfortable against Hat, I think it'll show. So this is going to be a test for them going forward. This is only week number 2, so they're really going to have to make sure to continue to make a good early impression, and hopefully show us that there's a lot of teams that can compete with Hat, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, they're, like we said, one of the stronger teams around. They're not a pro league team. They haven't been able to compete in pro league, but that is simply because of age and age alone. So while we're talking about that, here they are. And you can actually follow these guys on Twitter at hat_esports, HAT_esports. They are currently number 4, 1-0. Should be a good matchup, but you got Billboard, Bolo, Hyper, Benji, and Wheeze. Bolo, their standout fragger from week 1, he did a tremendous job. He had 16 kills and only 6 deaths with 3 assists. So a very good solo performance by him. I expect to see a lot of fragging by him. Also, look out for Benji and Hyper. They came in with 12 and 11 kills, so definitely in the double-digit club also. All these guys have been playing since day 1, release, beta, all that good stuff. I know you know these guys, so what do you got to say?
I mean, I think Billboard can sometimes be a bit underrated. I think he's a great player. He doesn't necessarily play for the frags. I think he plays a great Pulse, for example, that could be a bit more on the intel side. So I think this being such a team-oriented game, everyone has their role in Bolo and Hyper and Benji getting those frags, and I think he's definitely one of those key players in that. So definitely someone to watch out for in terms of strategy-wise, just maybe not as much frag-wise.
Yeah, it's one of those things where no matter how good you are, you kind of got to have that utility player, someone who's going to be able to make the calls and play that anchor position, and even with the pulse, make the call outs and use that for intel. I think we're going to go into the bans have begun, and it looks like the first one came from Skyscraper from Honor Among Thieves. They are the home team. Being the home team, you get to have first ban and first pick on the maps. That is the advantage.
So fortunately, they don't want to play that, but
yeah, it's a fun one to
number
watch.
Of bugs in it, right? It has a lot of bugs related to the Geisha room right now that makes a lot of teams really not interested in playing that. And I understand that in its current state, I wouldn't want to play it because the best bomb spot is that tea room karaoke area right next to Geisha, and you want to be able to defend that. And since the bugs involve defense, I do think it is worth banning for the moment for that reason. Although using it as your first ban, I'm not sure I agree with that unless you're really trying to feel out the bans of the other team. But we'll see what Hat have got in store for that.
Yeah, I expect probably gonna see a coastline ban. It did squeak through last series. It didn't get played. It was gonna be the decider map, but it did actually make it through all the ban phase. Honestly, I'd probably see a consulate ban. I don't think Paradox is very comfortable with that map.
There it
And
goes.
and just like that, I called it consulate coming out, and both maps fairly vertical. And one thing to note about these two maps particularly is there's a lot of corridor style areas, where it's one way in, one way out. Not a lot of people favoring that style of play.
Definitely not gonna want to play plane then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking in the back of my head. Season 1 style.
Well, there goes Clubhouse, and I'm always glad to see that gone. I've seen way too much of that season 2 and 3. Although Border's starting to become the new Clubhouse in terms of maps to get sick of. Although Oregon gets a lot of play as well. I just am more biased towards Oregon personally than Clubhouse because I think Clubhouse is all about how well you can defend that basement, and that's gotten a bit stale, especially in the
Yeah,
Glass meta. Although we don't have the Glass meta here, so it is a bit better here on CCS.
Yeah, but it's still kind of straightforward. Take control of this kitchen. It's push
Yeah.
here. It's the standard pick. Bank coming out next for Paradox. It almost seems to me like they're straying away from the team-oriented maps. Bank and Consulate both, I think,
Some of the bigger
favor.
ones as well.
Yeah, they favor a lot more teamwork or a strong roam game where you can cover a lot of ground. Coastline,
Yeah.
just like we talked about, Hat going to take that off the table.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, Coastline, another DLC. So that's all 3 DLCs getting the ban there. Although 2 of them were from Hat. Well, I guess they're wanting to play more of the traditional maps. But I guess Paradox doesn't want to play Border either. Again, another big map, another one that they're not wanting to play. They definitely want to get those big kind of roamer ones out of play. Basically, that must indicate to me that their roamer game isn't so great. Although if they end up on Oregon, that could be a big problem for them.
Yeah, and just like that, you mentioned it, and there it is. Oregon as the first pick for Hat with that home pick. I've seen them
That's
on this
against Paradox. So
yeah, but I know that this is one of their more comfortable maps. Hat,
yeah.
that is. Paradox actually considers this one of their top 3 maps also, so that one should be exciting. Kafe, I think, is going to be more of our 50-50 map. I think we're going to see some one-sided play on Oregon. Hopefully it goes
Well,
distance, but that's my gut instinct on this setup here.
so all 3 of these still involve roamers, seems to be Paradox's weakness, judging by their map bans. But they're different kind of roam. They're roam that is, like you said, a bit more hallway-ish. Ones that involve like some tight quarters, like Oregon, for example. There's a lot of choke points for roamers. And then Kafe as well. Those stairs become a huge choke point for roamers. And then Chalet, like there's the basement you can sometimes rotate down to and things like that. And then that library area, but it is again one that is a little more difficult for roamers. So maybe these give some play to Paradox, but if Hat knows how to choke off roam play, then their weak roam play is going to make it so they're just fighting sight all the time.
Yeah, and I do know Mayhem likes to roam. He did have a big impact on the roam on Oregon last time when they played. So hopefully they can come out. I'm pretty sure we're about all set to get into this one. Just double checking on the lobby, and I think that we are good to go. We are in week 2, day 4. This is the final game of our second week of play in the CCS Invite League. We have Paradox versus Honor Among Thieves on Oregon, and let's do it.
This should be good. Again, my favorite map, so I always like to see this one. It's a good start to it. It really kind of shows how flexible teams are because you really need to adapt on this map because the meta has been around for so long and depends like entirely on which operators you bring. But I think this is a good one to test teams on, just like Chalet is.
Yeah, this is a team-centric map, and it's one of those things where everyone knows what that goal is
Defenders,
to accomplish.
protect your bombs
The
from
cool
being
thing about this
defused by
map,
attackers.
especially with the implementation of Mira, is there's a lot of different ways to accomplish the same goal. So we'll see how they set it up. Recently, you've been seeing a lot of teams playing for this meeting using this Mira, which I think we're going to see again here.
Now, one thing we don't usually see that anyone who watched the Brazilians play, especially over the weekend, is they will actually go with no downstairs. They'll even reinforce the entire wall with no mirror and then just go for C4 throws. They'll bring like 3 people on C4 at least and just go for that instead of trying
10 seconds
protect
to go.
with smoke. And it's interesting, it does work sometimes. We haven't seen the
5
US
seconds left.
players adopt it yet, but I do think it's something we could potentially see down the road for some of these teams to try something a little bit different against the current
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
As you see, they reinforced the back of this wall on Master Hallway. The weakness to playing this meeting is attacking from that and getting control of that attic. So I like that. The use of Castle opening the hatch for rotates in case they go blue more construction. Happy Tau already made his way into small tower.
Interesting that Hyper's on Pulse instead of Billboard, but Billboard's going to be playing that defensive down on site, and I think they just figured that was probably a stronger role for him here.
Yeah, it makes sense. Hyper's a little bit more of a fragger, whereas like we talked about, Billboard is that mastermind. He's the intelligent player, the Canadian, if you will, for their team.
I like that he's playing with this castle door here to try and be able to kind of guard the meeting hall without them being able to push him super heavy from kitchen, because kitchen is hard one to fight, as once they get into dining, it could be hard to contest it without the right angles.
Right. They do have control of this large tower. Ash is up in the top. Mayhem on Thatcher is in the second floor, but Ash did go to Ash charge. I'm not sure what happened there. I think it actually hit the railing on the wall right there. So the second one goes out, and they do have the attic open. What I touched on, that is a very important part. They reinforced it, but they opted to not play it, but they are holding the meeting itself still. We have Hyper on that pulsing from underneath. So he has the intel. He knows 3 people are in that tower currently. A minute and 30 remaining, still 5-5, no kills going over yet.
He could C4 that floor, though, so that is something you can take advantage of once they start making their way towards that ladder. If they stall out for a second, he can really C4, get some good kills, but that is going to open up the ceiling then for them to shoot down into the meeting hall. So if he doesn't kill enough of them, that could potentially come back to him.
Vortex takes out Bolo on the backside, so that's Blackbeard taking out Bandit. Bandit's gone, and Mayhem, I believe that's Thatcher, takes out Wheeze. You guys are going to have to forgive me. I actually have a tornado fairly close to my home. Hopefully it don't come and ruin everything. If it does, so just try to pick it up on your watch.
Well, it looks like Paradox being the tornado this time. Taking down 3 already in that meeting hall was a good start for them. That could have been something where they easily lost a man or two, but taking down 3 without losing any health at all was really nice.
Yeah, 45 seconds left and a whirlwind of kills comes out. It's now 5v2 in favor of Paradox, something that we actually didn't expect. I know I didn't personally expect it, but a lot of power coming in. Bonsai downstairs already getting the plant off.
For them here, it's all down to Billboard and Benji to try and stall this out, but it's not going to happen so far.
Smoke puts the smoke down. He's able to choke him out a little bit, but it doesn't do too much damage. The second smoke coming in, but that bomb is down, and they have the number advantage. This is going to be very difficult. He's laying down behind that left side basket, and Billboard takes out JT right after Mayhem gets Benji, and now it's all left on Mira. I'm going to have to pray for a miracle.
That's right. So he does have his window up still. He has a little bit of advantage with that, but fighting against this mini, even if he takes down heavy here, it's
beautiful headshot on the side, but Bonsai gets him from the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah, 5v1 ace clutch. That's not gonna happen unless you're Nesk. It's just poor Billboard at that point. But good start for Paradox. I'm impressed with how that played out. Not just that they won, but how well they brought 5 men on that attack against 2 without losing a single man in meeting hall is not an easy feat. And they even getting the drop on Hyper, which really shouldn't have happened because he kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah, honestly, it was just, they kind of just flexed on him. They did what they had to do. They opened up the backside. They have the 3 people on that tower, took control of that attic, choked everyone to where they knew they would be, held angles, won their gunfights, and that round was pretty much beautifully executed by them. So it is 1-0 now in favor of Paradox.
So I'm curious to see how they set up their defense. Chances are, if they're like other teams, not only are they going to defend the meeting hall, but they're going to defend that tower and attic a bit more heavily, because teams generally, as I said before, want to defend against their own strategies. So they're going to want to make sure that that attic skywalk stays secured, especially if they're setting up this many resources in the meeting hall. It looks like they're even more committed to meeting hall than Hat was from the looks of it.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, it looks like it. I do like the use of Castle on this door. I'm curious to see where they put him on the basement floor, but I really like this. And this is one I've been seeing a little bit newer on Mira's. You know, if you're going to play this, you just don't want to allow them to have control, and they can come from that kitchen side. And with this Mira here, it allows for you to at least obtain some kind of intel, so they can't just freely walk around inside of there. So I do like that one. Of course, the second Mira in the basement on the closet here, like you normally see.
Now, what happened last time, though, is when Paradox attacked, they didn't even bother with the kitchen. They just did all their damage from above. So if Hat's any way the same, then all that setup to defend the kitchen won't end up doing much. But it depends. They probably will, though. They generally seem like the team that's probably more likely to attack the kitchen. But controlling the tower the way that Paradox did it, I think is a little bit smarter, because those gunfights in the kitchen can get a bit hectic, whereas this is a very narrow corridor down this
JT takes out Hyper, and now one of their big fraggers are down. That's no more Thatcher. Now Bolo did drone inside of this attic, and he knows that he's on the back side of this, playing that reinforcement wall. This is pretty much the same spot we saw him last time that they played Oregon. So Mayhem pretty much claiming that as his spot. He's doing a good job holding him off. A minute and 45 into this round, 5v4 in favor once again for Paradox.
I like the angle that Mayhem's holding, and he was able to dodge Bolo's shots because of that. He's able to see up just slightly, but they can't see him. But Weeze could catch him with this fire here, and that'll be a problem, pushing right down into the meeting hall itself. However, he's got a nice tight angle against that. If they can't get him out of this and using two of their arrows like that, it's actually very good on Mayhem.
Doing a fantastic job of playing this ladder side of attic. Now he's been flashed, so he drops down. Bolo takes out Vortex to even up the score. And then right as he drops, Bolo gets the double kill. So Mayhem's down also. Beautiful job using that flash to flush him out. JT drops through though and gets the trade back. That's two more for him. But Benji says, JT, sit down. It's now a 2v2 with 1 minute remaining. A lot of action going back and forth and back and forth. 2 double kills on each side. 55 seconds left. We have Ash and Hibana left. Hibana has one more Hibana charge. The hatch is open. Probably going to use this last one to try to get that wall. But unfortunately, it was still banded, so he's not going to be able to get that Mira open. Smoke has 2 smokes left, did just use his first one. 35 seconds left, going to be able to easily space this out. A little early on that. I would have hoped to see him hold on to that for a little bit longer. They are still droning out, although they're running out of time. Only 20 seconds left. They're going to have to push forward. They know one is in the B bomb site. Ash has finally pushed into the electric room.
15 seconds left. A bomb has been located.
And now that he's there, he turns around, he tries to get the kill. Bonsai gets Benji. Benji's down. Bolo trades back to Heavy. It's now a 1v1. Who will do this? Money's on Bolo with the one tap. And that, I believe, was a 4K for Bolo that round with the quadra kill. And look at this at the end. Imzo, he said, boop, I don't think so. This is our round. We're bringing it back 1-1.
It was one of those situations where there was only one place left that the Mira was going to be sitting, and he definitely took advantage of it. Yeah, he could have whiffed that shot, but well done. And I think they really took advantage of the fact that since they used one Mira window up in the meeting hall, that left them without the ability to look behind. And that was a big issue there, and you saw that Bolo exploit that. He came in from the B side. I mean, generally what happens is when they're defending against the A side, pushing from behind, especially with an Ash,
right,
is usually a good idea. But especially in a situation where they don't have the resources to watch their back, down to 2 men left, and knowing one of them has to watch the back, I think that was just, it was a smart play all around.
Attackers need
but
to locate
it was
and
definitely
defuse
close
bombs.
without Bolo getting that kill in the meeting hall and being able to follow that up onto the bandit dropping. I think that could have gone the other way around. But I do think that meeting hall is an appropriate name based off the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think he did a good job, and like you said, that could have easily went wrong for them and went the other way. But a good job by Bolo picking up that 4K, talking about being a big fragger, and he showed why right there.
I do think that round could have gone potentially Paradox's way, so I think, I mean, obviously Hat won, but I do think we're seeing some strong play on both attack and defense from Paradox, just that they may need to rethink some of their setups. I really liked what Bandit was doing upstairs in that the attic. He really played so well against both Bolo and the Capitao. I was impressed because he didn't let himself get pinched out until that flashbang hit him. After all those Capitao arrows, after Ash trying to get a line of sight on him, just it seemed like he had some angles figured out. I don't think that was the first time he's had to play like that. So I just was impressed by him surviving that under such pressure.
Yeah, it should have went the other way, but a good job by him. We are now on round 3, all tied up 1-1. No one down yet.
This meeting hall defense yet again. And see, this is the window that Billboard has there. That's the one that they were lacking because they put the one in the meeting hall, and that became a problem for them. And you see that they're already making sure that they cover their backside.
Yeah, I like how they're using that to watch the backside of that big tower. We have now been a minute into the round. assuming they're going to go into this again, and they have, and it looks like they've taken a page out of the Paradox playbook. He's playing the exact same spot, laying down right there on that small flat in front of the ladder. The first flash is going through, and a fire arrow coming through.
So that is important, but it seems like neither of them can get quite the fire arrow. However, the C4 finds its mark.
Yeah, Hyper does a great job. C4's on the backside of that hole from underneath the rear stage and gets one kill. Bolo aggressively peeks JT from underneath the C4 spot and gets another kill. And now it's 5v3. And let's look at Capital. He's also extremely low, probably about 1 health. He's just going to breathe on him and fall over. 125 left in this round. 5v3 in favor of Hat.
Looks like that first round, not indicative of how they can attack this. Doing much better, or I'm sorry, defend this, but they're doing much better this time.
Wheeze takes out Heavy, Vortex takes out Hyper to trade it right back, but it's still in favor, 4v2 with only a minute remaining. They finally have control of the front side of meeting, but they still have Castle upstairs. And if you look at him right here, he's holding a cheeky angle, just waiting for him to push around. Billboard on the backside. I'm assuming Bonsai tried to push down the back of it, and Billboard said, I don't think so, and gets a double kill. Oh no, he creeps up the front side, so a small flank for him, and beautiful recoil control on that Mira from distance. That's medium to long range, and that's normally a difficult shot, so good job by him, and it's now 2-1 in favor of Hat.
I like that follow-up kill onto the meeting hall, that second one he had there, because that was a dangerous repeat, but landing that shot mattered. How'd he miss that shot, however? That could have cost him, but I like how he gets the one, just waits for a second, then repeats and gets the second one. So good accuracy and control on his part, making that work for his team. Although I think even if he hadn't got that kill, I don't think that would have gotten in favor of Paradox.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have, but a kind of serious matter for me. This tornado is actually, it looks like it's going to come through my town. So if about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to try to last as long as I can, but I'm going to have to hop off here, and you're going to have to rehost and pick it back up when it happens. You know, I got to be safe first. So it's an unfortunate event, but it's something that's obviously real and going on around me.
You weren't prepared for a tornado mid-game?
I was not prepared for a tornado other than that Paradox round one, but it might sweep through and take everything I got, so let's hope not.
5 seconds.
I live in California. We don't get warnings for earthquakes. You just get away, you know.
Cover the diffuser.
All right, we are into round 4, though. All that aside, been following Bandit. Once again, pretty much the same exact hold as we saw before. They're not really going to change anything up, and I honestly don't think they need to. They did a good job. They just got to make sure that they watch that guy on the backside and get the pickup they need.
I think their idea is that if they control this meeting hall well enough, they don't need to worry about having that second window to face the back tower stairs.
Right.
But at the same time, like you do really have to make sure you can hold this meeting hall, and that's not easy to do, even with as much pressure as they put on it on defense. From Hat's side last round, they still almost lost it, but it just came down to the wire, and that push there for Billboard at the end was what saved it. Holding meeting hall is, you got to realize this is a temporary situation, so I think doing it like this is a bit dangerous because you commit a lot of resources to a room you know you're probably going to lose, and you just have to hope to get enough frags to make it worth it.
Yeah, I'll agree. You know, as a player, my team does the same thing. We hold that, but we hold that to play for the rotate and the retake of underneath. And right as I switch over to Mayhem, he did a good job on that spot the last time, but this time Billboard knew the counter. He went up on the small ledge of that big tower and was able to see him above that ladder and kills him. And then just like that, Hyper takes out Vortex. So it is 5v3.
Yeah, I like that angle onto the through the attic window. That was a really smart change-up, saying like, okay, we know how you play this and taking advantage of that.
That's that intelligent play we're talking about from Billboard.
Recovered the bomb diffuser.
Great heads-up awareness from him to know the spot to get rid of him. So take notes on that one. A minute and 15 left in this. Of course, it's 2-1 in favor of Hat and 5-3 in favor of Hat this round. We are on map 1, best of 3 series here in week 2, day 4. Our final game for our second week of play. And only a minute left in this round. Hyper gets a kill on the Heavy. And JT on the flank from upstairs gets Hyper.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
It's really going to depend on him to try and help whittle these numbers down, or the mirror down there is just going to be pinched out. See
Oh,
another
they
one
know he's
tap
there.
through.
He tries to go for the flash on the outside. He was going to get cheeky. Bonsai gets a kill over to Wheeze, but Bolo takes out Bonsai. Thought they were going to bring it back for a second. Bolo in sight, 40 seconds left, but he's getting bomb down.
Bomb located
And bomb
by
is going to be
attackers.
planted.
Attackers
And
are
now the
activating
mirror
the
is
diffuser.
being used against them. Let's see what JT does. Pretty much
I
just
like
going to
what
have
they're
to
doing
go
there.
for this hole. The door is castled.
Oh, that's unfortunate. The defensive setup working
Ooh, a
against him
beautiful
now.
shot
Ooh.
right there. So that's a double
There we
kill
go.
so far for him on this one, I believe. 5 and 3 so far in this game with 1 assist. It's 2v1 in favor of Hat still. He only has about 15% health left right as he's reloading. Billboard following and looking at him up through the hatch. And he gets that kill, and that round's going over to Hat, so it's now 3-1 in favor of Honor among Thieves.
I really didn't think JT could clutch that out, but I got to give him an A for effort. He really put in an effort to do as much damage as possible, to try and get around, to play against them and play with what they're trying to do and knowing what they're doing down there once they got set up. And so it was a really good effort. Obviously, he wasn't going to be able to kill all 5 by himself. There wasn't going to be an ace clutch, as I said earlier. But I liked what he did, and I was impressed with how he played that, because it was going to come down to him. The 2 defenders left downstairs were just going to get pinched because of what we talked about last time, where they don't have the defensive structure to defend both sides of it. And you saw what happened there. Again, it collapsed on them. So he needed to maybe
Attackers
attack
need
a
to
little bit
locate and
sooner.
defuse as many
But I do
bombs
like
as they can.
what he tried, and I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, it's always nice to see ingenuity when you're talking about maps that you've seen so much. I mean, it is Oregon. It's been around since the conception of the game. So I love Mira changing things up, and then I love how differently people play the map itself. And for the first time here, we're going to be seeing a kid's dorm hold on defense for Hat, because they did successfully defend that bottom. So the first team to defend successfully on defense.
10 seconds to go.
I can't wait till there's so many DLC maps in this game that, like, when we see an original
5 seconds
map, that
left
it's like a
before
rare
insertion.
thing. It'll be
Yeah, it's
interesting
kind of a
at that
rarity
point.
because everyone wants to play the new ones. I agree. And
Attackers
you know,
have
they have
recovered
this
their
5-year
diffuser.
roadmap, so they're
Attackers
talking
must locate and
50
defuse the
operators on
bomb.
each side. I'm assuming at some point that'll be an operating pick ban phase. And honestly, that's the state of the game that I'm looking forward to where there's so many different options to accomplish the same goal, but then you can strategically remove what people are strong at as far as knowing the teams themselves. And I think that will encourage and help
Attackers
blossom our
recovered the
competitive
diffuser.
scene.
Definitely. Well, we're seeing our first operator change up here, knowing that they're attacking upstairs. JT bringing the buck is the first operator that we've seen new to this so far into this matchup.
Yeah,
so
one
that is
can
going
go
to be to play the
underneath.
to be playing that kitchen to try and get that person out of that B site. That does mean that they could potentially be going for they're using it to go for the bedroom plant. They're using it instead to get rid of batteries. So that is smart as well.
Yeah,
they
good
could
use
also do the
there.
same thing with Ash Charge though.
As you can see, Bandit is, or not Bandit, excuse me, but he is right there, so we almost had a small exchange. Bolo is hanging out in the back of this attic tower, so they are playing this with a reinforcement. I do like that. I think it's smart to eliminate the ability to have that, because then you cut off their ability to take small dorms, because then or kid's bedroom, excuse me, because then you can't repel on those windows as easily.
Like a Wheeze is all set up, just totally cozy in that kitchen, ready to defend it, and no one wants to attack him. Feels bad.
Paul's hanging out in the L hallway, so he knows that they have armory control. JT does a great job, throws a grenade through, and Bolo's down, so no more Bandit. And that got him out of the tower, and that should open up the ability to get that tower open, and they can play for the kids if they want to, which if it's me, I'm going to call for the switch
Bomb
right
located
here.
by attackers.
Get clear! I got this!
Definitely refreshing to watch some of this map played without glass, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, definitely getting a little stagnant. One of my favorite things is that the captains themselves voted for no glass, so if that tells you anything, that should tell you everything.
Drone activated.
I like how they're going
Attackers
with
have located bomb.
3x Kairos.
Ooh,
Just
Vortex
switching it on
getting
the
a pick from Armory onto Billboard, and now it's 5v3 in favor of Paradox. They might be down 2 rounds, but they're trying to bring this one home.
wall. Showing a lot of potential here from these guys.
5 seconds left on this round 5. Puck coming through. Benji has no clue he's inside, but no, a potato aim. But he's able to get the pickup with the pistol. JT downs him and takes him out. Benji's gone. Hyper gets a trade right back. Now Bonsai's gone.
Attackers recovered
But
the bomb.
excuse me, JT does have control of that master. He doesn't even know he's right there, and JT gets him with the headshot. I believe he slugged him right in the mouth with that shotgun. And Emmy gets a trade on Hyper in the background to bring it back to 3-2.
I gotta give MVP to JT that round. Doing his utility job first, getting those batteries out, and then getting a frag with the frag grenade, then getting some kills with the C8, the pistol. Like, the C8's not the easiest, funnest gun to use, but I think he got, what, 4 kills that round?
It was either a
Or
triple
at
or a
least
quadra,
3.
so he did
Yeah.
a good job either
But
way.
regardless, it was a lot of work coming out from both on utility and kills, so I definitely feel like that was his round. Paradox, again, showing some strength here. I mean, it wasn't just on JT. Obviously, he had some good support from his teammates, but I think we're seeing some of the potential of this team. The question is, do they have the ability to close this out in their favor, or is it just going to be a 5-2, 5-3 from Hat?
Still, honestly, they're putting on a very good performance. Up until this point, after the
Defenders,
first week,
protect your bombs
Hat
from being
only gave
defused
up
by
2
attackers.
rounds, so it's not like, you're playing one of the lower tier teams of the league. This is the best of the best, and they're competing right with them, even though they, don't have as much experience as a unit. But I love what I see from them, and I was bringing up the scoreboard while you were talking. If you look at that JT, like you said, look at the slaying power. 8-4, a stable team performance on the bottom side. A little bit of underperformance by Heavy, but JT definitely flexing on him right now. So if he can get just a little bit more frag help from his team, I could see this easily going over to Paradox.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, is just making sure your teammates are providing enough support that it's not all on one guy's shoulders. And I mean, we're seeing that from Hat. We're seeing them really, a lot of their guys coming out, maybe some more than others, but everyone's managing to pick up a round or two in their favor. So if we can see the same thing from Paradox, we're definitely going to see an overtime.
You see Mayhem, he of course was the roamer that I was talking about, and of course he's playing on this back tower. They opened it up all the way through Attic. So I do like that, because Hat is known to go for a kid's take. I think they did their research on this one. Bolo going to start rappelling up, and what they're just going to do is push in and take control of that. And Mayhem going to do as good a job as he can to eliminate the ability to rappel on those kills window, because that of course makes it extremely easy to get in and get that plant.
And that's why they really want to take control of that tower, because the towers are really your weakness when it comes to this. I was talking with Canadian about that over the weekend, and that was something that he pointed out, is when you're going for a kid's take, you have to control both towers. If you lose either of the towers, you potentially lose that attack.
Yeah, because even if you do get the big tower and you do not have the small tower, it's super easy, because you have to have someone on the A window, the large window that's in that bomb site. Normally a Blackbeard or a Glaz, depending on which scene that you're playing in. And if you get flanked from that and you don't have control, I mean, that can ruin everything, because that is your major cross to cut off that white stairs. Pretty much where everything happens. Vortex gets a kill onto Benji in the middle of everything. So now Habana's down. They do have access into this tower, but Habana's down, 1 minute and 35 left. The favorite is for Paradox, so the momentum is doing a good job. Blackbeard holding that window, though, on Billboard that we had mentioned. And Billboard sprays through the wall, or excuse me, the mattress, and Vortex is down, so he ties it all up. It's now 4-4.
Drone activated.
Rook no more. And just like that, Bolo takes out Mayhem. JT on roam, he's all the way down in the basement. He's gonna have to get upstairs and help his team. Heavy sitting in this white stairs. Bonzi, I'm told it's being a corrected name. Bonzi hanging out in this small dorm. Only a minute left. So interesting to see if they're gonna be able to hold it. Billboard does a great job holding that window we were talking about. So Heavy's down, the white stairs hold is down. Weeze has control of the ledge outside of that attic.
They really need to get Billboard down. He's the one doing a lot of damage to the team here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn from this one and invest a little bit heavier. That is a very powerful position. Hyper doing a great job. Now JT's down, and it's all left on Bonzi right here. 33 seconds left, though. He has time in his favor, but Bolo gets the bomb down. They started out with the advantage, but now they're going to go down. Bolo pushes through. He doesn't see him. Not sure what's going on over there. And he's going to get the shotgun. No, he doesn't get him. Takes him down low. Weeze with the drop shot to finish off that round. And it's now 4-2 in favor of Hat. Match point on map 1.
I think Bonzi's going to have to work on his reaction time. He had a good drop on 2 of the attackers and didn't land enough shots to kill either of them. And that was really what cost him ultimately. I mean, they weren't paying enough attention to even realize he was there, and he had the drop, just couldn't quite make it work. I feel like if they were able to get the Blackbeard of Billboard off earlier that round, they might have been able to hold that defense, because it wasn't a bad defensive hold. They just got picked apart a little bit by him early on, and that opened up enough weaknesses for the rest of the team to exploit, and they sure did take this now to match point.
They sure did. A lot of power coming out slaying power that is from this hat roster, and I think that they
Attackers
proved it
need to
on that one.
locate and
I
defuse
really
as
thought
many
that that
bombs as they
round might
can.
go over to Paradox, but a great job by them to be patient, take control of the areas that they needed to. One of the big things to note that round is they droned, and then they re-droned, and then at Enzo, they re-droned again, and then right before they went in, they just went ahead and droned one last time, and that is a key element that I think a lot of teams miss, is it's never... You never have enough time. You always want to drone. You want to make sure everywhere you go, every step you take, someone isn't there. You have people like Bandit that can get around the corner in a second and be in it 2 rooms away. So I think that is what's winning them most
10
of these
seconds
rounds,
to
is they
insertion.
have a phenomenal drone game.
Yeah, and that's what it comes
5
down to, is
seconds
just
left before
knowing what to do.
insertion.
I mean, obviously they didn't know Bonzi was there last time, but
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
yeah, but
Attackers'
it does come down
objective
for
is to
sure,
locate a
because
bomb and defuse it.
in this game, pre-firing is super powerful, and you need
Absolutely.
the intel to do that. So that's really what it comes down to, is not counting on reaction time to win gunfights, but rather counting on being able to pre-fire, keep people knowing where they're at, being at the right place at the right time, because you have the intelligence to back that up.
Seeing the same setup as we saw before, but the difference between them is they haven't been putting that player up in that attic. They've just been reinforcing it and just kind of investing, forcing the other team to invest those resources and get them out of there. 30 seconds into the round, no control yet currently from the attackers. Excuse me, now Capitao is inside. Gonna pre-fire down into the stairs. See if he can't see in the basement. Droning coming out currently, lots of droning. So the droning that we talked about, seen it from Paradox also. 1 minute into this, it is 4-2. Match point in favor of Hat on map 1 in this best of 3 series, week 2, day 4, CCS Invite League. Habana is opening up the front hatch finally.
Interesting that they brought a thermite as well.
And not really needed on this map. But looks like they're not going to take any chances. They want to make sure that they can get into anything they want. And just like that, they did it. They opened up this attic wall, but of course, no one was playing in it. They also have back tower control. But there is only 1 minute and 30 left. So half the round is gone, and they haven't really made too much progress. I mean, they have the hatches open, but at some point, they're going to have to start pushing this objective. Smoke has 2 smokes, so one of them wasted already. A little bit of a gun battle going down from Bolo. He takes some damage, but doesn't take a whole lot. Good exchange from the attackers.
Surprising coming to 5v5 here with 1 minute left. None of them been able to pick. As I say that, of course, 2 kills go down.
Yeah, Vortex picks up Wheeze, and then Hyper gets the trade right back onto Vortex. So Blackbeard's gone and Castle's gone. 55 seconds left. All tied up in this round 7 matchup. And it looks like Hyper's going to go for a flank. He has a good position here, and I don't believe he has been spotted, so we're going to stick with him and see what kind of damage he can do. Capitao has pushed down, and so has... Ooh, and just like that, Hyper gets the pick on a heavy. You saw him slow peek that left or that right side of the meeting, and he's able to get the easy headshot. So you know Bonzi is on alert in that classroom.
That will slow down the push for the plant, that's for sure.
Definitely going to slow down the push on that one. Only 15 seconds left, though. They're going to have to start pushing in. They finally make it downstairs, and they're getting the plant off. Billboard gets the C4 onto JT.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
So a good job by him, but they're able to push forward. Billboard going to push through that smoke and try to get the kill. Hyper kills Bonsai with a triple kill, and Billboard comes through, knifes Mayhem on the bomb, and that's GG. Map 1 going over to Honor Among Thieves.
Really down to Billboard and Hyper that round. Billboard holding a really tight site defense, and Hyper playing very smart upstairs before rotating back down. But nicely done by those 2 guys, especially that round. I mean, everyone on Hat doing a good job, but you know, I like to call out who was kind of the important players in that particular round. So I think Paradox still good players here for sure. Heavy, maybe not getting as many frags as they like, but you see he's a thermite player there, so not as much surprise there. However, the question is, was that a better map or a worse map for them? Because we'll find out going into the next one whether or not that was playing to the best of their ability or at a bit of a weakness.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I definitely think that we see a lot of potential in this Paradox roster. I was saying it last week when we saw them play also. You know, they've had 2 pretty tough matchups. They have to go against Ferocity, which they just qualified for Pro League. So that's their week 1 matchup. And then their week 2 matchup is now Honor Among Thieves, which is honestly a professional caliber team in itself. So I'm excited to see what they can do on Kafe and map 2. But I think, Emzo, we're going to take a short break and then we'll come back with this one. And yeah, stick around.
Hopefully you don't get tornadoed out.
Hopefully. We'll be right back. All right, I think we are going to go ahead and get right back into it. The teams are ready. Emzo, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me kill this silly music and let's start this up. Transition on over. Map 2, Kafe. Honestly, I'm actually a little excited to see this one. Not the same map we see over and over again, so I like the diversity that we're going to see today.
I mean, personally, I'm usually sick of this map, but because we're playing without the Glaz meta, like a lot more maps are bearable than would be normally.
Right, yeah. Otherwise, it would just be smoke out, run in, kill everyone, 4K, GG.
Yeah, the whole cigar push, basically. I mean, we still may see a cigar push, don't get me wrong.
But most likely it'll be a Blackbeard.
I'm excited to see the Echo involved at least, though, because I think there's still a lot of potential for Echo to be a really important defender, but I think people are still feeling out how to play him correctly.
I agree. I think they're also a little scared because he was, not even usable for a while, because if you would yokai someone, unless you hit him right in the forehead, it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So you can understand why players are a little hesitant, even with the patch, to use him, in a competitive environment, because in a competitive environment, the smallest mistake or slip up can cost you everything.
Yeah. So it still may be a matter of time before he becomes a big part of the meta if he does. But again, I like to see people trying it.
Seconds remaining.
So hopefully they play him better than Flipside does.
Cough,
5
cough.
seconds remaining.
Gonna ignore that one. 3 seconds left in this prep phase.
Attackers
As you can see, they have the castle on this closet door so that they can't be hit from the side from the skylight here, excuse me.
Yeah, that skylight being a big part of how this plays out here in terms of where people can play. And that's why those stairs become such an important part of roaming, because you're not exactly going to be able to roam across that bar. So a lot of defensive structure ends up what Billboard's doing here is a pretty common thing now. So he's being able to rotate back and forth through that bathroom.
Right.
Is important. And personally, I'm surprised we don't see teams playing that from below better, like knowing how to attack that site from below. But it's something where people are still trying to figure out how to take out that bathroom and pitch that butt.
Vertex peeking on through the hallway and gets the kill onto Bolo. He was sitting inside a bathroom, so Bandit's down, and he's able to also pop open that Mira. So a minute into the round, and he does a fantastic job giving them the early lead.
Good start for them here, but this is the first round. This is when everyone's feeling each other out. The first 2 rounds tend to be a bit of a back and forth between teams.
Yeah, a good team to use as an example would be Era.
Yeah.
They're the best. I don't even know what they're known as now. I believe it's VG.
Yeah.
But they've always been known for, they'll kind of drop rounds and drop almost rounds like it's intentional, because they want to see what you do. They kind of want to study your hand, and then they adjust, and then they just devour you from there. So we could be seeing a little bit of that as well from these guys.
Attackers drop.
Yeah, that's what I say. Those first 2 rounds, VG, like I said, known to just drop those first 2 and then come back hard for that. Continuum as well have been really strong on comebacks lately. So it's something where teams are figuring out how to play after they figure out how the other team is playing. So
that adaptation and counterplay.
Yeah, but both teams really need to be doing that. That shouldn't just be on one team. So that is a mark of the teams that are a bit more in terms of professional play.
I will agree entirely. 1 minute left in this round. Of course, it's still 5v4 in favor of Paradox. I got that early pick, so Bandit's down. 55 seconds left. They're finally getting inside. That one castle down. Sledge tries to push inside of Cigar, but gets hit on the side from Benji, and Billboard also takes out one. So now it's a 4v3 in favor of Hat, and just as I say that, another one goes down. Hyper takes out Bonzi.
They should not defend against Cigar. Oh, man.
Billboard with a double kill. He's a very good recoil control with that Mira UMP. Or Vector, excuse me. Hyper gets Mayhem with the C4. We're going to see him do him dirty from underneath.
Nice jump. I like that.
Skip it.
Smart play, knowing that that controlling piano is such an important part of that attack, and knowing that they're going to be focused on trying to take care of that Mira. Smart to play down under there with Pulse like that and be ready to get that C4 when they're going to be super focused on those Mira windows in the bathroom.
Yeah,
nice play. They definitely know how to
job.
Yeah, agreed. I think that was a good starting round. But hey, it's Paradox's round to learn from that, figure out what they did so well. I mean, we'll probably see Mayhem playing by the A-bomb as well. Typical for an Echo play. That's what we saw last round also, is hanging out over on that side, trying to help defend against the attack onto the bar. But they were able to hold off Cigar pushing into bar very well. And I think that was an
Protect your
important part of
bombs
that.
from being defused
I think
by
that was pretty
attackers.
much the key element to what allowed them to hold that, because I thought early on with the pick that it might be going over to Doc's. Backclear did a good job getting that pick up, but wasn't quite enough. A great defensive hold by Hat. And now we're going to see Paradox chance, see what they can do on this upstairs bar take, which back in the day you really didn't see this. I really feel like it was the implementation of Mira that has forced everyone to consider bar as the primary pick.
Yeah. I think until people find some good counters for it. I
10
mean,
seconds
Glass
left
is a
before
great
insertion.
counter for it, but he's not in play at this moment, so.
Yeah, Glass
5
pretty much
seconds to
counters
insertion.
everything, even Jesus himself. But it is
Not
1-0
the-
now
Cover their
in favor
defusers.
of
Yeah.
Hat.
Objectives
Honor
to
among
locate a bomb.
Thieves. Again, you can follow them guys over at hat_esports on Twitter. They took map 1-5-2 fairly decisively, although I think that the score might be a little eluding because Paradox did a great job, honestly, fighting back throughout that one. They're down one here, but let's see if they can bring it back.
They should be able to, hopefully, if they play it smart. Though it looks like JT playing the roam game. He's been their good roamer, I've noticed, on Oregon at least. He's going to be, but this comes down to timing, whether or not JT gets it off or not. And he seems to be able to at least stay alive when he roams and get the picks sometimes, if he can get the timing right on when to push. So I think this is actually a good play here, having him play that. Although I almost would see him better on Pulse in terms of being able to play from below like we saw last round, but still hoping to see some good things from JT on his roam play here.
Securing the wall!
Yeah, I would like to see him on that Pulse, but I still think he can do some damage with his Jaeger, being fast, being a high caliber bullet, being prone to those flicks, which he is known for. A minute and 50 into this round, 2 drones have been killed. Not sure how he knew he there, but a beautiful pre-peek, and JT takes out Bolo. Ash was pushing through that mining area, didn't even know he was on the outside of the library in the red hallway, and he gets that kill. So again, the early kill going to Paradox. Let's hopefully they can capitalize on it this time, though, Imzo.
Yeah, he seems to know how to get his kill and then manage to get away, though. We saw him do that on Oregon when he's trying to clutch versus the 5, but he manages to survive, that he doesn't get traded. And I think that's an important part of why JT's a good roamer, is that he stays alive, gets the kill, doesn't get traded for it, and then continues to be a thorn in their side, especially against this Buck here, who's having to watch out for him now.
Yeah, I really like that. As a roamer personally, that's what you want to do. Your ultimate goal is to eat up as much time as you can and survive as long as you can. So he got that pick and he got out. That's pretty much roaming 101, so take notes on that one. That is a picture perfect on how you execute that. We are now down to 55 seconds. Favor still in favor of Paradox, although the round is 1-0 in favor of Hat. See what they do on this offensive push and how they can take this. They do have control of Cigar. Smoke using his first smoke to try to push them off. Wheeze does a good job. JT is now down. So that's Buck taking out Ash. Or excuse me, Buck taking out Jaeger. 33 seconds remaining. Smoke holding down this
Bomb
back
located
store.
by attackers.
Still 2 more of his gas charges.
Start though having the Echo and the Smoke still alive if they can do their job.
Billboard gets down. Vortex kills Billboard. So now Heavy does a good job. Billboard's down too. 13 seconds left, and just like that, it's a 4v2 in favor of Paradox. And Paradox, Vortex takes out Benji. 7 seconds left. He's gonna have to push it and get the bomb down. He's stuck on Y stairs. He gets the kill, but it's not gonna matter. Round 2 going over to Paradox, and we're all tied up at 1-1. Beautiful job by them.
Just the combination of them knowing how to stall out a plant and JT playing on that roam for as long as he could, I think really mattered. They didn't just have Echo, though. They had Echo and Smoke to be able to hold them off as long as possible. And that was the key to that, was just forcing them out of time. They didn't have to win all the gunfights, but they did win a lot of them. And just delaying for time was enough to make them frantic, so that they were able to pick up some of the more of those kills. Buck just in a desperate situation on the stairs. Sure, he won it, but he was still so pushed back and so desperate at that point that it didn't really matter much, as you saw at the end of the round there. So nicely done by Paradox figuring out what they needed to do as well. Maybe even executing a little bit better than Hat did. So we're going to see what they do on Montaigne, though. I think it's the first Montaigne we've
Defenders,
seen so
protect your
far.
bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, it'd be the first time we see Montaigne. You know, he's still pretty powerful. They did a couple patches ago, I think 1 or 2 patches ago, they nerfed the steady fire, the hip fire on those pistols. So you're not seeing him use quite as much, but he, still is an impenetrable force. And he causes devastation everywhere he goes. first
Question is,
time
will they
we're
be able
gonna
to stop
be
him?
holding the mining dining area, as I like to call it. The first time we're seeing this on defense, and it's going to be Hat,
10 seconds to go.
because they did win that upstairs on their first defensive take. They have
5
Mira
seconds to
and
go.
Echo once again. I do like the use of Echo on this particular map and this particular site
Attackers
in this map.
recovered the diffuser.
I think he's
Attackers
extremely
locate
useful
and
now that he's
defuse the bomb.
fixed.
I do think between the Echo and the smoke, they have a good counter here to Montaigne if they can capitalize on being
Right.
able to either stall him out or knock his shield back. It's not easy to take advantage of the shield knockback from Echo, but it does force him to be a little more passive and not be able to push in as aggressively. So either way, it's still useful to have as long as that Echo can stay alive and not be so distracted by doing that.
You know, I'm a little curious because when you think about it, it almost seems like the Echo was picked up like they knew that they were going to bring Montaigne, knowing that they were on this site. So maybe there was a little bit of research done, or there was some scrims going back and forth. And you have to wonder if that was an intentional counter. If so, well done.
Yeah, one can hope that these teams are trying to play at that level.
Bonzi has made his way into the cafe downstairs in main corridor and working his way up front stairs on Montaigne. We're a minute into this round, round 3, all tied up 1-1 in our second map. So they're just kind of taking their time and pushing around, just kind of trying to be a bully like he is. Claymore going down on top of red stairs to watch the flank. Vortex on Blackbeard jumps inside of the pillar dining room. Red Hall just going to continue to drone. Castle's
Attackers
on
have
roam though.
located
He's
a
all the
bomb.
way upstairs in the cocktail lounge by Bar.
I like that though. This is where he's playing to try and counter them. Yeah, he has a skylight to worry about, but as long as he's conscious that he could be jumping down on here and do some serious damage, he's got that impact grenade as well. Potentially do something against Montaigne's back, weaken him a little bit.
Yeah, he
Question
fell
is
and he
he
made
gonna
a
get around?
sound, but I'm not sure if he heard him. No, he didn't hear him. Wheeze on the flank takes out Vortex, Blackbeard down, and that's going to force Montaigne to go right back down that red stairs. And now the advantage is in favor of Honor Among Thieves.
If Weeze can just stay alive and get back to sight, or maybe even distract them a little bit longer, I think he's done a great job this round, making it much harder for them to push in with that Montaigne.
Yeah, I think he did, and now it's only a minute left, so a good job on the roam from him. Bolo is on roam upstairs also, so he's not going to allow anyone to get above. I like the use of the Mira and the way they're playing it. Right here, Weeze looking to get his second kill. JT doesn't know he's there and pushes right into him. Billboard kills a teammate but says, I don't care, I get a double kill. And all that's left now is Thatcher. And that honestly was awesome. I wish we would have been on to see that one. And Mayhem, he gets the trade back onto Weeze, so he's down, but it's still a 3v1 situation. Just gonna play that Mira.
Oh.
Mayhem with the double kill.
Wow.
And could he do it? He's looking poised to clutch it. 2v1, 23 seconds left. He goes for the flick and he misses it. A little bob and weave up and down, playing the whack-a-mole game. He pushes it to the site. 15 seconds left. He has his pistol out. Dance back, dance for Billboard. He's able to get the kill at the end, and that round goes over to Honor Among Thieves, and they're up 2-1.
Definitely Mayhem, a hell of a dance partner there.
Doing a tango.
Yeah, it was a really good attempt at that clutch. I definitely got to give him credit for that. I think he that's a hard fight to have, like over that mining stuff. It's really down to just who gets the right timing at the right moment. It's almost luck at that point if both players are equally skilled in the gunfight. So nicely done. Well played. I mean, that was hard. I got to credit to Castle though, managing to do a ton of damage there, and then Billboard C4. Between those two, it was really hard for Paradox to really pull off much of an attack here. Curious to see how this fuse is going to play in, though. That means they're really going to have to put a lot of effort into controlling the piano room above, because you know that's what fuse is going to be going for.
Attackers need to
Yeah,
locate
they may
and
not
defuse
be
bombs.
picking in order to defend it, but as soon as they see the fuse pick up, they should know to invest a little bit heavier in that upstairs. Since they are on mining dining, that fuse is going to be extremely powerful. If they're not able to stop him, though, I'm more interested to see how they use it. You know, of course, a lot of people are throwing that fuse down and hoping for blind kills. I always like to see people using angles and trying to force them out. You know, last game we saw a forced flash, a pop flash in, and it forced him out of the attic and into gunfire. So I'd like to see the fuse used in the same mannerisms
10 seconds
this
remaining.
round.
Yeah, it's all about forcing people out of positions and occasionally
seconds
getting a
left.
lucky kill or a down.
Yeah, the lucky kill is always nice. But the ultimate goal is to choke them out of somewhere that you're trying to get to and get them upon exiting that position.
Yeah, especially corners. I like why they just opened up this whole wall here.
It's actually not a bad idea, you know. Think about Consulate upstairs. I feel like the strength of that map is when you're allowing them to have that A bomb site, you can just play the whole back wall, open it all up. So it's the exact same concept on this one, and I like the use of the Mira. He has the soft walls to play. They're going to go up to the very top of the roof, probably playing from hatch and this skylight.
I like the combo with the castle wall too, because what he's doing is he's setting it up so they can't just run past that open wall and get into the room and fight him. They're really going to have to use Nasher and X-Cairo.
This is an interesting Mira that we see right there as he's laying down beside this pillar dining stairs. I know I've personally opened up holes there, but I've never seen a Mira. And if you look at what they're doing, they are not going to be letting anyone in that library. And Hyper holding the spot that we saw from the Pro League. And beautiful job on him right as he rotates through. And that man is down. Yeah, Thatcher just kind of kicking it back. Honestly, if they're not pushing for the wall, there's no reason for him to be up there quite yet. So a good job by him to play and hold that angle patiently. A minute and 45 into this round, 2-1 in favor of Honor Among Thieves, and it's 5-4 in favor of them player-wise. First fuse charge going down. Second fuse charge going down. Jaeger's able to eat one of the pucks, but Billboard gets one of the kills with it, and JT says, I don't think so, Weeze, you're mine. He gets the trade right back on him, but it's still 4v3 in favor of Hat. And Hyper gets another kill, and we missed it, but he gets JT, and now JT's down, and it's 4v2 just like that in a blink of the eye. A minute and 15 left.
Here comes the flank from Bolo as well, going towards the dining side here. Heavy's going to have to watch his back.
Mayhem did a good job getting Hyper, but Benji trades to Mayhem, but Heavy gets the trade back onto him. The final cluster charge going to go down from Fuse, and he pushes him into the fireplace, and Bolo gets the pick from the hallway, and that round's going over to Hat.
That's that flank I was worried about there. Nicely done using the holes in the wall, though. Good angle there. The Fuse definitely worked out that round, I got to say.
Yeah, it was a very heads-up play by them. I mean, it's just like Chalet. If you're going to play upstairs, find someone on your team that can be decent with the gun and put him in there and let him do work. Even if it's just going for that lucky puck, hey, you know what? Might as well go for it. And he was able to get one there, and it definitely helped set the pace on that round and help them pick it up and give them the 3-1 advantage.
I mean, that AK-47 is not too bad of a gun, but yeah, you definitely want someone that can handle it, and you don't want him playing on a shield.
No.
So we're going to see the first.
Personally, I really like the frag power from that gun. I think it's a little underrated, especially with the reflex sight that those Russians have. I think, honestly, in my opinion, it's the best sight in the game. It might not offer as much zoom as the ACOG, but it definitely gives the most field of view, and it doesn't have as much obscuring your view. And if you're old and blind like me, you definitely like something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely looking in favor of Hat here. We've seen some interesting play from Paradox, but they've been a bit stronger, I think, on their defense than their offense is. So hopefully the next time around they'll be able to defend successfully, because they were not able to that last round. They are going to be on this attack, which has not been their strong suit. The defenses from Hat have been pretty good.
10 seconds left before
Hats are doing a great job, and honestly, they're just going to go ahead and set up like they did last time. I mean, if it's not fixed, or if it's not broken, don't fix it. They did a very good job holding this before, so I expect the same thing here. Hopefully, Paradox can change this momentum and swing it back in their favor and get this before it goes to 4 and match point next round.
Yeah, now the upside of losing the round before is that if you lost, and you lost pretty badly, then Hat's going to use the same defensive strategy, right? You know they're not going to change it up too much for the most part, because they're not going to want to change it, like you said. If it ain't broke, they'll fix it. So you need to rely on that in terms of counter strategy. And you think, okay, well then we know what positions they're going to be playing. I mean, yeah, there are some roamers, but as far as a lot of the static defenders, you really need to use that intel to your advantage. Make sure that the roamers don't make it a problem for you, and just counter those positions as best you can, and just exploit that. And then control the roamers as much as possible, contain them using the stairs and things like that. Especially on a map like this, where the stairs do make it controllable, as long as you can hold them off without getting in bad angles.
A little bit of a misfire on that first Ash charge, but able to still get that castle wall down. 1 minute into the round, still no one dead, so they're all alive. Pulse is in this library currently. He jumps out and he falls all the way down to the dining room in the basement.
It's unfortunate, if that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, I'm sure he was trying to get out, but I'm not sure if he wanted to go all the way down there. They're doing a good job holding upstairs currently. Not much forward progress for the attackers, and they're going to have to start pushing with only a minute and 25 remaining. JT finally pushes inside. He now has reading room control, and he just saw him on the hatch, but he shouldn't have re-peeked that one. If he saw him, he has to know he saw him back, and Bolo gets that kill. So now JT's down, and Ash is no more.
Oh.
And Bolo, double kill. Mayhem thought he was going to get a cheeky peek on the outside. What a huge pre-fire by Bolo. Must have heard his footsteps coming down L, and he gets them on that triple kill.
He's definitely looking to win this round for his team.
Yeah, he wasn't going to take no for an answer, and he wasn't going to drop any more rounds. He wants that #1 spot in the standings. Good job by him. Vortex takes out Hyper, but Vortex is down.
I think Bolo's trying to bait him at this point. Decides, nope, no one else is going to come for him. All right, I'm going to finish the job.
Yeah, just going to give that kill on over to Weez. Ooh, Bolo with the quadra kill! And this was one of the sickest little jiggle peeks I've ever seen. Let's just sit back and watch it. He's down.
If you count that kill onto Blackbeard, was that an ace for Bolo that round?
I actually don't think he was the one that got the down onto the Blackbeard.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you count it for him, I think that was an ace.
Yeah,
but
if he would have taken that, it would have been a cheeky ace, but still, the quadra kill. A huge pre-fire on that hallway, and Bolo showing why he's so nutty.
Definitely. He just played the whole map. Like, he's just running around. Is that after he got that first kill on the bandit, he said, screw the freezer, I'm going to roam now. And really brought the fight to them. Brought it all the way to match point here. This is looking like Paradox going to have a Mount Everest of a battle here to try and stay in this.
Attackers need to locate.
For those of you who don't understand the reference, that means they're going to have an uphill battle.
The foreigners.
Gonna go ahead and explain it thoroughly. But we are on match point now. Map 2, map 1 went over to Hat. They won on Oregon 5-2. They won week 1, so they were 1-0. If they can win this without dropping any more rounds, they will move into first place after week 2. Lethal Gaming being second place right behind them. So let's see what happens.
They have a pretty good defense for the site. Yeah, I mean, I think this, if they're going to win any round, it could be this one, but I'm not sure about after that. They haven't shown great attacks. Although it does help when, you know, Bolo runs around the map and kills everyone.
Yeah.
To kind of double tend to ruin your day.
Not really much of a counter for someone that hears you and pre-fires you with half his clip and still able to get the pick.
Yeah. So the question is, will they be able to hold this off to at least make it a 4-2 for going to the next round? So they have somewhat of a chance. But hey, having to win 3 rounds in a row, no easy feat for either of these teams. But considering neither of these teams has really done much other than that for Hat here, I don't see Paradox pulling that off.
Right. Well, let's see what they can do. We can talk he said, she said, woulda, coulda all day, but let's see if they can actually show up and perform and bring it all the way back to overtime. They're going to need 3 in a row because they're down 4-1 match point for honor among Thieves.
They do have JT on that roam again, but he's got Vortex backing him up. If these two can do a good job holding this off and maybe even get some C4 kills or something like that from below to help hold back the Christmas Piano Room, this could go in their favor. Again, they are bringing that smoke echo combo that delayed the attacker so well last time. So if JT can just keep them busy, maybe call in Vortex or someone else to back him up and make sure he stays alive, that could be a real problem for him.
Hopefully they can team up and do a good job on this round. JT personally doing a great job. So they struggling a little bit on this map. All of them kind of struggling in the frag department. But they are currently eating up time. 1 minute and 35 left. He gets that drone down and gets a second drone down. He knows he's there like he got him last time. It's the exact same positioning. But Bolo honestly took some kind of powder or juice and he's on one. And that's another kill for him. So guess what? JT's down. Yeah, he's all G fueled up, maybe with some Insane Labs. Not sure what he's drinking, but give me a dose of that. Maybe go take it back some old school. I'm old. We'll take it back to Space Jam. He has Michael Jordan's special sauce.
That's
Billboard
right.
Gets the kill on the Vortex. While we're having fun with puns, he's taking down another kill. 1 minute remaining, 5v3, and Heavy gets a trade back. Benji's down. Not doing too good today for Benji. A little bit of a struggle for him, but a good job by Heavy on smoke. He still has 2 smokes left. He uses the first one to cut off.
Oh, that grenade, though, trying to push him back, though, making this a bit of a problem, but he does have a backup in Echo, trying to help stall for him. Between the two of them, they are able to stall this out, but they have 46 seconds they're going to have to pull this up for. 2 smokes, and I don't know if the Yokai is still alive, but...
Bonsai did get a kill, so he was able to even out 3v3. Bolo, though, gets a double kill this round. So now Mayhem is down. It's 3v2 in favor of Hat, but only 30 seconds left. They're going to have to take control of this site. They're finally pushing forward. He's finally gotten groggy, but there's no more yokai to work with. Bolo knows he's there. He's going for the pre-fire. He was hoping he would walk into him, but like a smart player, he stayed back. They're still going to have to get inside. Wheeze does a great job on the backside. Wheeze with a double kill, and that solidifies the game. And it looks like a 2-0 #1 contender. And Hat, honor among thieves, flexing on him, and that one's theirs for the taking.
I gotta give Hat credit first off for just playing really well, especially Bolo. They're going nuts. That's the Bolo we usually expect, but the rest of the team as well playing really well. You see all of them doing a great job. Benji maybe not getting as many kills, but some of the other guys definitely spreading it out a bit more. I mean, I guess Paradox has it spread out just with much lower numbers.
I love to say that's what she said.
So I do think I see a lot of potential in Paradox. I do think they need to work a little bit stronger together as a team.
I agree.
The way that Hat has been. So, I mean, maybe they don't have as nutty a players as Bolo on their team just yet, but I do think maybe against some of these other teams in the league here, they may have a pretty good chance, and I do think they're one to watch. But Hat, of course, always one to watch. And we see that here with strong wins.
Always exciting to get to cast these guys. Originally, they were supposed to be off-stream, but some unfortunate turn events, and the off-stream game...
Fortunate for me.
Yeah, fortunate for you. The off-stream game, I believe it was Relentless, was forced to forfeit today. They didn't have enough players to play their match. So that win went over to Nerva, I believe. So they're 2-0 also. In the round standings, those only count as a 5-0. For the winning team to kind of balance out the forfeit. But honestly, a strong performance by Paradox. I think they did a very good job, like you said. I think there's plenty of room for potential. The wonderful thing about it being a full league with 14 games is anyone has a chance, even if you drop 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5, you know, you have a chance to get in that top 8 slot. And I think that honestly, they're probably in that top 8 slot. They're just going to have to iron some things out and see what kind of seed they can get themselves for the playoffs.
Well, I definitely think it was fun to watch, and I think there was some great plays today. I mean, it's only week 2. I think things are only going to get more insane, right? Like, as these teams learn from each other, as these teams improve, I think you're going to see better and better play as things go on. So Benji already off to do something else to refresh himself.
Yeah, he's already off. So I think that's it for us today. Honestly, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys stopping out and hanging out with us. Emzo, thank you very much for hanging out with us and casting the second game. It's always a pleasure to work with you.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry I was obviously busy over the weekend, but definitely good. Some good games. Looking forward to some more coming up.
No, that's awesome. Congratulations again on that, being able to cast the Pro League. You know, much love to them guys over there. But I want to, on the end of this, real quick, give a big shout out to Ubisoft. You guys gave us a tweet on Twitter from your main Rainbow Six Twitter, and you hosted our event. So thank you very much for the support. We, like you, are just trying to help grow the community and the esport itself. So I think that's it for me. Unless you got anything else, we'll be back on Friday with our week 3 first set of 3 games.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be insane.
All right, I'm Fluffy. That's Emzo.
Sure are.
And we are out of here. Thanks, guys.
Peace out.